Checking out Camp Verde's Fort Verde, where Tom Horn was an Army Scout for a while.
Yeah, this is the headquarters building.
Shown is the fort as it was in the 1880s. There's a lot of buildings here, a lot of structures, and we are going to walk down what they're calling Officers Row, where we had, she looks very much like just being in a regular little city. Look at all these houses with fenced-in yards. I'm sure they had chickens and stuff too. We also have a picture here of a hunting party from the 1880s. Let's check out Officers Row. How cute is this? We're inside one of the officers' quarters, and this is a master bedroom. Look at these little things here. How cute. And check out the sitz bath in the behind. I mean, in the rear. Well, it's not any, not better. In the parlor room, you can see a portion of the adobe wall, which is really cool. Upstairs, we've got a little kids room. Very cute with all the toys. Some of them I recognize. Marbles and pickup sticks is what I called them when I was a kid. Toy soldiers, there's a dollhouse. Really cool, humongous spinning wheel. It is significantly hotter upstairs than it is downstairs. But I want to point out, if you do come, make sure I know there's people that like read all the signs, and then there's people that just look and then move on, but they've got QR codes. And when you scan that, there is a wonderful hostess who's dressed in full costume, and she's in the room and she's pointing out different things in her room and explaining how she used them and context behind what those items were. So don't miss that. It's fun. And if you're not into reading, it's not reading, it's watching a YouTube video. Also, after you're done watching that YouTube video, do them a favor, do them a solid and click that like button and leave them a comment and tell them what you thought about that content. Let's check out the bachelor's quarters. Notice that there are 2 beds in the bachelor's quarters. Information outside says that they doubled up. So we've got some activities for downtime here. Cards, gambling, a little booze. So Tom Horn might have stayed in one of these quarters, maybe bunking up with some of the guys, or maybe he stayed in a tent nearby, I don't know. Same with Arizona Charlie Meadows. They were both Army Scouts that worked out of and coordinated with the guys here at Camp Verde, Fort Verde, and they would have had somewhere to lay down a sleeping bag, right? It looks like this is the second open spot where a married officer quarters was. Looks like, from what I understand, one building collapsed and another was burned in a fire. So there's only 3 out of 5 buildings left on the campus. And now we're at the surgeon's quarters. Let's see what that's like inside. Interesting. The surgeon's building is very ornately decked out for their parlor. And I just noticed that we've got this stuffed, shoot, what's the name of this bird? Look at it, look at it. Tell me in the comments. I feel stupid right now. I can't remember. But funny story, interesting story, I guess, and it might not be Camp Verde, it might have been Fort Whipple. I keep saying Fort Verde. But I just read in some military documents about a medical personnel coming to Arizona to be a resident at one of the forts, and he had made an arrangement with the Smithsonian Institute. It wasn't quite a museum yet. Back, we're talking like the 1860s, mid 1860s. It might have been 64 or 65, if we can narrow down that window. But there was a scientist or physician who was coming out here, and one of the things he had agreed to do was collect specimens from the local area and send them back to where items were being collected for the Smithsonian, which would eventually become a museum. And so some of the things that they collected were Native American relics. Sometimes they collected indigenous people's bodies, corpses, and yes, that did include grave robbing. An example of that is found in Fort Laramie's documentation. They had a chief Shota, who was in Oglala Sioux, and he was buried on a scaffold just outside of their fort. Actually, it might have still been technically on fort property. And after he was buried, after a ceremonial time, we believe he was buried in the ground. And then a while later, there was a doctor who was also in agreement with the Smithsonian to provide samples of things that were found out in the Wild West. And one of the things that this doctor submitted was the body of the Oglala Sioux chief. And it took many, many, many years to get get his remains returned to the tribal band. And anyway, so that's just one example. But there was another guy out here in Arizona that was in a similar arrangement. Check out the medicine cupboard. It's an electrical shock machine. Now again, I forgot who it was, but I wanted to point out back here, there's a cupboard or shelves with specimens. So maybe there was someone, maybe not the same guy that I was reading about, but maybe there was someone here who was also collecting specimens and studying them and or sending them back to the Smithsonian. I don't know. I'll need to do a little bit more research on that. Or hey, you might know something that I don't and be able to get to the information faster than me. So put it in the comments. Mention the QR codes. I'm at the bathroom. And they even have one for that. I wonder what the video is going to show. Hold the front door. This is a 3-seater. Wow. I'd say that's a pretty good tour. It's $10 entry, and definitely don't come in July. Probably don't come in August either. Yeah, but really cool parade grounds. I would say the video QR code tour is great. The visuals inside, the way they have the room set up, is good. Nice visual storytelling. I would love a tour. So anyways, don't miss out. It's worth it.